YouTubers versus YouTube. They declare war on YouTube. Why? Copyright issues. Details, in my opinion, coming up. Plus, the responses for the Supergirl underwater fan film series have been tremendous. We'll tell you about that. And also, EA versus 2K Sports. Who wins the NBA battle? Did EA Sports drop the ball, or did they rebound? Plus, we'll answer your questions and comments coming up. This is Ask the Manager. It's time for me to answer your questions. Good evening, everybody. This is yours truly, Jonathan Rios. I am the channel owner and operator and broadcaster of the W.O.N YouTube networks and, of course, Jimbo Fail Exchange Production. And I am happy to welcome you to the very first installment of W.O.N's Ask the Manager, just where we discuss topics about what's happening on YouTube, what's happening in the video game entertainment world as well, and also the sports game casts. Also talk about what's going on at W.O.N YouTube networks and other things in between. We also answer your questions. Now, I apologize to those of you who are expecting us to go on a couple of the last weeks of December, but unfortunately I had things to do and stuff. But I'm on now. A good way to start off our first show of 2014, and we will discuss the very first topic, which is sweeping the nation, sweeping the YouTube world, and that is the copyright issue with YouTube, and it affects mostly video gamers and people who make commentaries. Now, for me personally, I do not make money off of YouTube doing the game casters that I do. I just do it because I love to entertain, play-by-play. I want to become a future broadcaster in sports broadcasting, whether it's the radio or television. Personally, I prefer the radio because it's more easier and you get to describe everything in detail, which I usually do in my video game casters, as you folks see. Now, a lot of people, and I've watched a lot of videos that people are concerned, especially YouTubers are very concerned about the status of their channel because they don't want to get a strike. They don't want to get a copyright strike. And it's not, well, it's technically not just because of the game, it's because of the music in the game, the audio visual. And I have gone through that. And as folks know, when I do my game casts, I like to mix up some old commercials. Well, most of those have been matched third party because of the audio visual. Again, that's the situation with YouTube, and I've gone through that because I've had two commercials in the game casters that have music which was called match third party. One was the UPS one, and one was the Rice Krispies one. The Orchard Company and some other company called TR3 Sports Media. I looked it up, and they don't own any of those two commercials. That has been the main problem with YouTube, that they let these big companies make false claims on people's work, and even classic things that are mostly in public domain. There's no proof of ownership or anything else. So to me, and I've been affected by this copyright sweep situation. I have not gotten a strike. Thank goodness for that. I'm going to keep it that way. Once my video ever says match third party, I download it again, I take it down, then I edit it and I put it up there and my other channel. That's what I've done for most of my sports channels. If you have noticed, some of the game casters, the sports game casts on UPN 5, not there anymore, is because they said match third party. So what I've done, I've downloaded it, I've edited it, re-edited it, and then posted on the Sportsnet channel, and everything's clean and dandy. I hope I'm going to continue to pray that I'll keep on being copyright strike free. I have been, and thank goodness for that, and I hope to continue to be that way. But I know a lot of gamers out there, they make a living off YouTube. They make a lot of money off YouTube, but most of these gaming companies, I think, are sick and tired of people making money off their products right now, and YouTube is facing a ton of lawsuits from a lot of these video game companies. Now, I think for sports video games, I think that's different. I think people like to do instructions, like to do episodes, they like to do game casts, play-by-play commentary, and most of these video games, sports games, YouTube allows and companies allow because you have your commentary, aka play-by-play on it. That's the only way it's allowed, and that's I think is why people make a lot of money off of it. Now me, I just do it just to entertain. My channel is supposed to be old school television. I have 4 channels, old school television, different things. So these are networks, channels that I think outside the box. But the point is, a lot of fans, a lot of folks of these video games that like to put these things on YouTube are very upset with the change with the YouTube copyright issue. And it's been an issue since the beginning of YouTube. People worried, they make their own stuff, sometimes they like to share things, but yet these big companies, whether it's CBS or EA Sports or Activision or anything else, they don't appreciate a lot of people sharing their products on YouTube and even making money off of it. And you know, it's a tough situation to explain to you folks, but I know when it comes to video games, people are in an outrage. I just saw a video a few minutes ago where this guy, and I'm going to mention the guy's name is B Shadows Gaming, and he had to delete 200 videos, and he got over 800,000 views that he lost. Okay, now most of these folks here, they make these videos just for fun. They put a lot of effort into it. They like to promote the games. They like to connect with people. They like to talk to other gamers. And I think that's the downfall of YouTube, killing all these channels who have worked their behinds off to entertain folks and to connect with people. You know, if YouTube, you know, if there's something I know, there's an old saying that YouTube says, YouTube, broadcast yourself. Well, that's what we're trying to do, but how can we broadcast ourselves with our own with stuff that we like to, you know, create ourselves, even though it uses some the things that we like, you know, like video games and stuff, materials. We're doing it our own way, we're editing our own way, but of course these companies don't seem to understand that. How are we going to broadcast ourselves if YouTube and all these other companies has our hands binded? I can never understand that. I can never understand why these companies and YouTube want to tie our hands. I mean, we're human beings. We like to. It's not like we're making money off of it, but I know for video gamers who put video gamecasters, or no, not gamecasters, but videos like commentaries and stuff, they make money off of it with their gameplay and their commentary. They make money off of it. Well, now it's just not going to be that way, and some of these partnering companies who prevent you from getting copyright strikes are affected by it. I know a lot of people are affected by it. Now, personally, for me, I am not affected by it. I make money doing other things on YouTube, and but not the games. I've never had any of my video games monetized. I never will. I have not been partnered with any other company. I have been invited, but I've changed my mind. I don't want to deal with that. I am part of AdSense, so that's how I make my money. I don't make that much, but it helps along the cause and stuff. But again, I think it's wrong what YouTube is doing. I think it's greedy what these companies are doing, whether it's the video game companies or entertainment companies claiming things that people work their behinds off. And I understand the copyright issue, but it's not like you're selling the game. You're just showing what you did. It's technically your game. You bought the game, even though the companies don't want you to share their product on YouTube of a game that you bought. It's very listen, it is a bottle of confusion. There's no question about it. But you know, this is affecting YouTube in a bigger way than they know. It's affecting them in a bigger way than they even know, because a lot of folks, they come on YouTube not only to make money but also to promote and do videos and get paid for it. You know, and that's the tough part about the monetization situation. I'm not for it, but I'm not affected by it right now because I'm not doing it. I don't have my video game sports gamecasters monetized. So I don't have to worry about that. I do have other things monetized, things that I create and stuff, and that gives me some of the money. But again, I think it's a shot to the ribs of every YouTuber in the country and in the world. And how long is this going to continue? We don't know. We don't know. Will it last long? No. Will it be a downsizing in YouTubers now? We don't know. I know a lot of people stop or erase their channel because of this situation. They've gotten matched third parties. They've gotten copyright strikes. They've even had their channel deleted. And it is an unfortunate situation. There's no question about it. There is no question about it. And this not only affects the video game industry, this is also affecting, well, not only affecting video game industry and also video game YouTubers, is also affecting music makers. And I will tell you this why. If you watch this guy's channel, Techno X, he has a channel, great channel, copyright free royalty-free music, gotta go to his channel. I've used his music that I download off his website for my videos, and especially my Supergirl fan film films, which we'll discuss on this Ask the Manager program later on. But again, YouTube at it again with the copyright sweeps. Apparently, a lot of people who have used the video, have made videos with his music on it, have gotten matched third party or have not gotten monetized. This is an issue that YouTube has not been able to fix for many, many years since they first started. And again, the system needs to be fixed up. They need to lower some of these outrageous rules and stuff and these issues. I mean, it's getting to be a joke. And imagine making your own video out of scratch, making music out your own scratch, by scratch, and all of a sudden a company claims that it's theirs. I mean, seriously, I can remember on my old W.O.N channel, it was DTV5 at the time, and I can remember I uploaded a cartoon that I created, and guess what happened? NBC Universal claimed that it was their property, that I got it off of Saturday Night Live. Really. It was blocked. The video was blocked. We didn't cut, and I don't like Saturday Night Live, folks. I don't like it at all. I never watched the show. I have a personal bias against the NBC Universal company because their TV network sucks, NBC. I mean, the sports department is great, but that's not the problem. The main problem is when it comes to YouTubers and with these big companies and stuff is false claims and copyright issues. That has been the main issue with YouTube. It's great, but there's a lot of boundaries, which makes it a little bit crappy, in my opinion. And you know, if you're a video gamer that do all these videos and you have to erase them, it hurts. But you know what? Just get up on the steps again and just keep doing what you're doing. You just gotta be careful nowadays. That's the way it is. But a lot of people are just abandoning their channel because they can't monetize their video game commentary videos, which is a shame because a lot of people, they go on YouTube to post them up. So my opinion here is that I think YouTube is doing the YouTubers wrong. Okay. I understand you're dealing with lawsuits and stuff, but who you're hurting is the YouTubers and also yourself, because you're gonna start losing a lot of YouTubers. You're gonna start losing money because you lost YouTubers, and people are gonna start going to this website called Twitch TV now, which is becoming a big thing when it comes to video gamers and commentary videos and stuff. So that, and now with the PS4. And with the Xbox One situation, where now you can't even put any, well, I don't know, I guess you need a device or something, you get to transfer someplace. That is another issue that I'm not even going to get into. I don't plan to get a PS4, I don't plan to get an Xbox One anytime soon. I'm satisfied with my PS3, besides I can watch movies on it. There you go, that's the reason why I'm not getting a PS3. But other than that, there's a lot of issues when it comes to copyright, especially with the PS4, because now you're not able to copy anything off the PS4 with the devices you used to do. Now you need special devices, and I know a lot of people have been able to upload them, and they're lucky and stuff. They got their commentary and things like that. But again, these video game companies are taking YouTube by storm by claiming all these things. Same thing with the entertainment industry. Bottom line, the YouTube copyright issues has to be cleaned up. It is not funny anymore. It's getting to be repulsive and ridiculous. And I happen to be one of those victims where some of my work that I created has been claimed by these companies. You can't find them because if you lose your channel and lose all your work. So the issue with YouTube, they gotta get their act together. They gotta change the policy with the copyright issues. The video game companies have to stop being greedy because it's affecting not only YouTube, it's affecting YouTubers, period. So that is my opinion on the copyright issue. Listen, the details are still coming in. This has been a rumor for a long time, but now it's reality, and the effects have taken shape, and it's taken YouTubers by storm, a bad storm. And right now, looks to be no end in sight. But of course, if it continues to be more complaints and other issues, then YouTube and these other companies are going to have to take a look at what they have done and did they do the YouTubers wrong. So we have to see what happens. Alright folks, coming up next, we are going to be talking about the NBA video game situation. 2K Sports versus EA Sports. EA Sports came back with an NBA game. Did it impress, or was it an epic fail? And we will also talk about the Supergirl in the Watery Trap and Supergirl Endurance. And also, will there be a third Supergirl fan film on W.O.N YouTube in 2014? We'll discuss that and also read some of your comments that I've gotten on my 4 channels right after this. This is Ask the Manager.
If you want to have fun, you can sit in a seat like this at the ballpark and watch the Dodgers in action. You'll be entertained. Here's another kind of a seat from a wide-bodied Continental Airlines DC-10. When you sit in it, you'll be entertained too, with exclusive specially condensed double feature films, plus short subjects in stereo, all at no extra cost. Of course, on Continental, you don't have to stay in your seat all the time to have a good time. You can get up and go into the only coach pub in the sky. In the pub, you can relax with friends, enjoy free popcorn, or play exciting electronic pub pong games. So whichever seat you choose, at the ballpark or on a Continental wide-body DC-10 to Chicago, Denver, or Houston, you'll have a good time. Either way, you've got a ringside seat for lots of fun and games.
On Continental Airlines, we really move our tail for you.
Hello, this is Universal City Studios, where we're filming Dragnet. I'd like to take just a minute to talk to those of you who will soon be 65 about signing up for your Medicare benefits under Social Security. Now, it's very important that you go into your Social Security office 2 or 3 months before your 65th birthday, regardless of whether you plan to retire or whether you want to continue working for a while. If you wait until you're already 65 to apply for Medicare, you will have lost some of the protection provided by this health insurance. The time to sign up is before you're 65, not after. Now, if you have a question about Medicare or about any of the other Social Security benefits, write, phone, or visit the Social Security office in your community. The people there will be glad to help you.
Alright, folks, welcome back. Please bear with me. I'm trying to work out this webcam I have right now, but I guess we're all set to go. Alright, topic number 2 is the NBA video game situation. 2K14 versus NBA Live 14. Now, for those of you who know, for the very first time in a while, EA Sports has jumped back into the NBA game, releasing an NBA Live game for the very first time in a long time. I can't remember the year, but over the past couple of years, they've tried to make an NBA game. They kept on canceling it because of the search engine and stuff. Meanwhile, the EA Sports NBA 2K series has flown off the charts and has been a success. And if you have a PS4, it's more successful now, because now they have a halftime and post-game interview with Doris Burke and, of course, an NBA player. You get to actually hear the players' voices during halftime and in the post-game, which is, to me, is tremendous. Now, of course, for PS3 they don't have it, but it doesn't matter. The NBA 2K game looks tremendous. Now, to EA Sports' NBA series. And personally, when I first found this out, I knew this series was going to be dead in the water. As soon as EA Sports announced that the NBA Live series would not be on PS3 or the old Xbox, I knew they were dead. I knew they were dead. And secondly, we didn't know the release dates until probably around September or August of 2013. But then the day arrived, and so did the game. Let me tell you something. I looked at their graphics and compared it with the NBA 2K14. EA Sports must have been making the graphics in the game during nap time, because EA Sports has absolutely dropped the ball. And again, I'll say this again. Well, I'll say this for the first time to you, just like I say it to my friends. EA Sports is done with the NBA. There is no question about it. This game is absolutely as bad as EA Sports has been. They've already lost the rights to NCAA football with the lawsuit. They lost it to basketball, their baseball games. They dropped MLB a long time ago. In my opinion, dropping Major League Baseball's license from EA Sports was just the beginning of the end for EA Sports. Their Madden 25 game, despite what people say, is not as good as it was supposed to be. And mind you, the NFL's license contract with EA Sports actually expires of June of this year. June of this year, we're hearing March of this year. We're not sure yet, but it does expire this year. And it was a contract year, and even though the game made a lot of money, they just need help. EA Sports just needs help. The only thing they're doing good with is FIFA and NHL games. But EA Sports really dropped the ball on NBA. They didn't make an effort. The players look like Ninja Turtles. They make LeBron James look like a weirdo. It's just terrible. The only thing good about the EA game is the ESPN overlays and the presentation. That is it. That is it for that game. That's the only thing that's good about that game is the graphics of the overlays of ESPN. Because as you folks know, EA Sports made a contract negotiation to do and have ESPN. Their games be powered by ESPN, which means you get to see Sports Center stuff, graphics that you see on television for ESPN or ABC. That has been it. That is it about that game. That's the only thing good about that game. And you're seeing the picture of the comparing of the players. When you look at NBA 2K14's players, the graphics of the players, they look like real-time players. If you look at EA Sports, they look like Ninja Turtles. It is as bad as EA Sports has been. They could have done better with this game. They could have done much better. They could have put they couldn't put effort into it. I guess they couldn't put effort into it. This is as bad as EA Sports has been. They have been on a bad run, no question about it. Their Madden 25 game it's a good game, but it's disappointing because it's just disappointing. You understand? They couldn't get the PS3 version right. They couldn't get the PS4 version right. Something's got to give with EA Sports. That's the reason why they've been named one of the worst companies of 2013. And this just shows you why. This just shows you why the effort is not put in anymore when it comes to EA Sports making these games. I'll give them credit for NHL and FIFA. But again, it's just terrible the run that EA Sports has gone for right now. It's just terrible, and it continues to spiral. And who knows? In my personal opinion, the NFL's contract with the EA Sports expires later this year. Who's going to come in and jump in? Now, the NFL continues to report that they're sticking with EA, but I doubt it right now. I really do. And I don't see 2K Sports getting into it. I do see Sony, the creators of MLB The Show. I see Sony getting into it. Not only do I see Sony getting into NFL, I actually see them getting into NBA and maybe even the NHL. I think people are going to have to start looking out for Sony Entertainment and video game stuff because their Major League Baseball game is such a popular hit. It blew EA Sports. Well, EA Sports wasn't part of it then, but it blew 2K Sports out of Major League Baseball because 2K Sports baseball game, I'm sorry, was as bad as it was. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean when you watch the Major League Baseball, the show games, they look so realistic. And I do a lot of the gamecasts. I know a lot of you folks watch the stock gamecasts. They're so realistic. But when you watch 2K Sports' game, it's like it's unbelievable. It really is bad. It's that bad. And for 2K Sports, their best series is NBA 2K14. I believe that's their only sports game they have right now, since they don't have baseball, they don't have football, they don't have college basketball or football either. And it's a dicey situation. It really is a dicey situation. And who knows what's going to happen with the basketball series with EA Sports. Personally, I think they're done. I think they rode their last ride. I think they're done. I think this year just proved to me that EA Sports is falling apart. I don't know who's making all these games, but I'm telling you right now, they must be making it with their eyes closed because NBA Live is about as worst of a game as I've seen in years, and I've seen bad ones. The last bad game I bought was 2K Sports' Major League Baseball, and that was a long time ago. But again, EA Sports really dropped the ball on the NBA series. They have completely destroyed it. I think it's time for them to say bye-bye to the NBA and say hello to another challenge. And I think what really killed it was the fact there was no PS3 version. I understand a lot of people jumped on board to get the PS4, but there was a lot of things missing. I think people have to give the new game console some time to fix itself up. There's a lot of things missing, and in my opinion, you get more out of having a PS3 than having a PS4. I understand I'm probably going to get a lot of mail saying, oh, you crazy, you know nothing about. It's the truth. You get more things out of a PS3 than you have on a PS4. You can't watch movies, I don't think, DVD movies or Blu-ray movies on a PS4. You can't add your own music to a PS4. That's the issue I have, and I've always had the issue. I've always had the issue why there's so many things missing. And if you have a standard television, a standard definition television, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I have, because I can't afford an HD one, and I'm against HD. I don't know what's the big deal of it, but you can't put an AV connector. You just can't. So that's the downfall. So I think EA Sports has dropped the ball on the NBA series. And it's going to be a very interesting year, I think, for EA Sports due to the fact that the NFL contract expires later this year, and also what is the future of the NBA on EA Sports. Personally, I think after this year's disappointing game, I think it's the end of the NBA on EA Sports. And it'll be interesting to see who will come in and sweep and try to go up against 2K Sports. Personally, for me, it's going to be Sony. I really think it will be. And we'll see what happens down the road between EA Sports' basketball situation and 2K Sports' basketball situation. But as of now, I recommend everybody get the NBA 2K14 game because EA Sports, it's not worth the money. I give it 1 star. I shouldn't give it no star, but I'll give it 1 star because ESPN's graphics / overlays looks great. Alright, folks, we're going to go to the second to final segment of our very first episode of Ask the Manager. Coming up next, we are going to be talking about the response of the Supergirl Underwater fan film series that you folks have watched over on our sister station and you. We're going to discuss that, and we'll also read some of the comments we've gotten over the past couple of weeks on some of our channels. I believe it's 3 channels we're getting. Yeah, 3 channels. We've gotten some comments and questions, and I'll answer it to you right here on Ask the Manager. So stay right where you are. Still plenty more to come here on Ask the Manager. Stay with us. W.O.N. YouTube Networks is now on Facebook. Check it out.
People going home on my train use the time to unwind. At first they're kind of shell-shocked. Then they realize they're heading home. They turn back into a father or a mother or a Little League coach. Tickets! Tickets, please. By the time they get home, they're a regular person. At least until they get to work the next morning.
Metro North and the Long Island Railroad, going your way.
For the next month, each of you is going to be either a blue, a green, or an orange. These are the ranks. The low class.
Come on. What's Mulder trying to do, incite a riot?
Nice boy would have had you in one time.
You mean a Japanese boy, don't you?
When have you personally, ever been made to suffer?
All my life, Adam.
Don't miss The War Between the Classes, Sunday night at 8 on UPN 5. Alright, folks, welcome back to the second to last segment here on Ask the Manager, here on W.O.N. UPN 5. Yours truly, Jonathan Rios. I'm the channel owner, operator, and broadcaster of W.O.N. YouTube Networks and Jimbo Fail Exchange Production. And speaking of our network and production company, we want to thank you folks for supporting us with the 2 Supergirl Underwater fan film presentations. Supergirl in the Watery Trap, and of course Supergirl Endurance. Special thanks, of course, to MMP Studios for helping me with the custom video. They're the ones who filmed it and put it together. There's been tremendous response and mostly positive. I'm looking here on the counter here on the U channel for Supergirl in the Watery Trap. We released it back September 19th of 2013, and since then, since today is January 6, 2014, it has collected 23,811 views, 66 thumbs up, and 9 thumbs down. We can't satisfy everybody with the 9 thumbs down. And the Supergirl Endurance fan film, well, let me explain something about the Supergirl in the Watery Trap. For those of you who have watched it, of course, you already know it's a parody and a reenactment to the 1978 scene in Superman, the movie, where, of course, Superman has the kryptonite necklace and is drowned and stuff. And over the course of the last 2 years, I've wanted to see, and I think a lot of people, I think it's been a fantasy that a lot of people have wanted to see Supergirl in that kind of a Pearl situation. And the only company, the only film people, producer that I know in the superheroine world that has come close to having it down perfect was The Rye. The Rye, of course, the creator of Supergirl 1984, and of course Supergirl Doomsday. Both great films. But I think the pool scene was tremendous. The only problem was the underwater situation. There was no camera underwater, and I think that took away from the scene, but it was still a good movie. And I think a lot of filmmakers, whether it's creators or custom video creators, anything, have had trouble trying to make a Pearl like that. So that's why me and my friends decided to create something like that, along with help with the MMP Studios. And it's just been a blockbuster success, the Watery Trap film. And it was so much of a success that people called for a sequel. And guess what? We have delivered the sequel, and it took us more longer to make the sequel than usual because financial situations and also different issues arise. But we got it up in time, and we uploaded it on December 22nd of last year. And so far, since we're in January 6, 2014, we have collected 6,332 views. We got 32 thumbs up, 4 thumbs down. Again, you can't please everybody. Now, the Watery Trap was a simple shoot. It wasn't that hard and stuff. But the second one had challenges and complications. And I know a lot of people are probably ragging on it. But probably not. Or probably only 4 people have ragged on it so far. But it has been a very successful fan film. The Endurance fan film has been successful. The Watery Trap has been very successful. And people have started to message me and even ask me, will there be a third one? I'm going to say we are planning one. Is it a definite situation? No, because anything can change. Right now, if we do decide to make a third one, it'll be targeted for the summer of 2014. Now again, nothing is set in stone. But I know a lot of people want to see a third one. They wanted a trilogy. Now we do want to make this an ongoing a series. There's no question about it. But of course, you have to look at some of the issues. Financial issues. The donation issue for the second one was a little bit tricky, and not that many people donated. We did get donations, but not that much. And also financial, because me, my friend Jackie, and Ricky, who were part of this, we had to, we were having some financial situations, but we were able to get through it. We had, especially during Christmas time, when we all had holidays, working holidays, of course, seasonal jobs during the Christmas. So that helped us along with that. Other than that, we got everything together. There were some challenges and complications with the dialogue and stuff like that, but we've had tremendous positive results, tremendous positive comments and compliments and reaction to not only the Endurance, but of course the first fan film, which was Supergirl and the Watery Trap. So will we do a third one? Most likely yes, but not definite. We will keep you up to date. Hopefully by, I guess, April or May or even March, we'll let you know if we're going to decide if we're going to do a third one. Now, the second one was not as easy as the first one because of the props and stuff, and there were 2 females involved as well, and it was supposed to be, I guess there was issues with dialogue, but all in all, it's been a blockbuster hit. There's no question about it, and we have a lot of your comments. For those of you who are watching on the Super Heroine Forum or any place else, we look at this. We start off with Penguin81 from the forum. He writes, do you know, I was halfway through watching this and my internet cut off. Looks good, but we'll watch the rest tomorrow at 3:30. Oh, it's actually at 3:30 a.m. because the guy was from London. But he liked the film. That's great. This one comes from Heroin Fan 429. Great effort. The underwater fight scene was awesome. Well done. Jack Ledoux looks amazing in this. This one comes from SGZ6. Now, he gave me a lot of comments. He said that he didn't understand the underwater dialogue. He didn't like it, although everybody else did. He thought a few scenes should have been trimmed down. But all in all, he had a tremendous writing. He was giving me some details and stuff, but he liked the film. He said it was a lot better than the first one, even though the first one is tremendous. He also says that Lauren Kessler was great as the bad Green Lantern. But all in all, no negative towards these people. No negative towards the 2 actresses, which is a good thing. Now, here's the deal here. Here's what he wrote, and I'll keep it short. This is what he wrote. This is SGZ6. from the forum. He writes, I'll give some more substantial feedback later, but here's his thoughts. A big improvement on the from the first fan film. The story was better. The villain was way better. She rocked, by the way. And Jack Ledoux, as always, did an excellent job. I do have some suggestions on some areas. I already told you some suggestions. But he says, great film, well, nice film, and some good pearl and excellent villainry. That means Lauren knocked it out the park with being a villain. Another one, this one comes from Saxman314. He writes, I love your Supergirl. I'm trying to see if there's any other comments here. I'm looking here on the forum. Alright, here we go. This one came today. This one came back on December 23rd of last year. This will come from Heroin Turd. Not my name, that's somebody else's name. Here he writes, excellent video. Have you considered creating a third movie to the trilogy? I will explain this to you folks. I already responded, but I'll explain it to him if he's watching. The answer is we are considering it. But right now, again, it's not definite. We have to look at financial issues. Also, not only that, you also have to wonder if the actresses, especially Jack Ledoux, is going to be available. So that's what comes into this situation. I already let the MMEP studios know that I'm thinking about doing a third one. I let them know after they sent me the second film. So they know I am thinking about a third one. Not definite, but once I decide to make one, I will let you folks know. And I'm trying to look here to see. Well, we got more comments here. This one comes from Supergirl Is Mine. It's about Jack Ledoux again. She looks incredible in the Supergirl costume. Another one comes from Heroin Fan 429. Definitely one of the hottest women to put on a Supergirl outfit. There's no question about it. I think everybody agrees with you. This one comes from, and this was before the release of the film. They talk about the teaser and everything. This one comes from Tally Ho, and this one he writes, your Green Lantern girl looks pretty too. Good luck with it all. Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody's support. Now, this one was very tricky. This comes from a website called superheroinhq.com. Now, a friend of mine who I talked to on the forum, a big supporter of my film, he posted the trailer and the teasers up, and there was so much negative comments that it had to be erased. I mean, they were doing so, and it turns out they were competitors, to be honest. So I'm going to read this comment here. If it seems long, listen, it's my first Ask the Manager vlog, so please forgive me on that. But this is when Supergirl Endurance came. This one came from Alex X. He wrote to RJ123, and this is what he writes. You know, I was surprised by the number of negative comments this video and production got in the preview post here. I'll say it again. Yes, the acting is not great. Well, that's his opinion, of course. Trying to see where I left off here. But compared to the videos you have to pay for, take your pick from clip4sales.com, and that's a lot of videos. That's a website that I think the company does it. Anyway, he writes, it is okay. Yes, the camera work is not up to what many companies are compared to, but it's good as hell. Hell, the dialogue and writing is better than most paid videos. The costumes, heck, some paid videos still use the cheapest Halloween Supergirl outfits, and this one is nice. Seems to me the only ones who would be upset about a free Heroin Pearl film would be the competition. Anonymous IDs are great, aren't they? Call me crazy, but IMO, no true fan, would poo-poo something of this quality that is free. I don't know, sometimes I think some of these people can't write. Keep up the great job. More of these will keep the prices down on paid videos. I'd pay for this half over the other crap productions you have to pay for at the clipsforsale.com website. Granted, this guy will likely move to pay format after these lost leaders. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'll say this again. First of all, thanks for the comment. And I understand his comment was not written that well, but I guess when you type fast, I guess it happens. One thing I will tell you, folks, I am not looking for any profit out of these films. There's no question. This was just for entertainment purposes. I had to shell, me and my friends, and I know the donators have to shell out a lot of money to get these first two films out. And in the third one, if we decide one, I already calculated it's going to be pretty big. So we're going to see what happens with the third one. But I do appreciate all your comments here. And will he do a third one? That's yet to be determined. But I thank you all for your support. I think I got another comment here on the Facebook page. And yes, we have a Supergirl in the Water Trap Facebook page. There's no question about it. This one comes from Jay Rowland of Facebook. He writes, great fan film. Teaming with MMP Studios was great, as they always do good work and have some of the best models around. You are absolutely right on that. There is no question they have the best models around, but it's not just the models and the company that makes them great. They are true professionals. There's no question about it. And I trust me, when I first did the Water Trap film, I was nervous as hell. I didn't know what to expect, but let me tell you something, they knocked it out the park. Will there be a third one? I'll say this again. There's a possibility. It's not deficit. I'll make it deficit in the spring. We'll come back with some final thoughts right after this message. Stay with us.
Supergirl has the ability to save millions upon millions of lives with her great superpowers. Americans have the ability to save thousands of lives, one at a time.
16,000 people die each year in car crashes that don't have to. Safety belts could save their lives. Safety belts could also prevent thousands from being horribly disfigured or crippled for life. So buckle up. Your life is in your hands.
Alright folks, welcome back to the final segment of Ask the Manager. This is yours truly, Jonathan Rios. I am the owner and broadcaster of W.O.N. YouTube Networks and Jimbo Fail Exchange Productions. I want to read some of the comments I've gotten for some of the videos. And before I do that, I just want to let you know, folks, that coming up this Saturday, we will bring you Rangers Hockey. We do not know the team yet, but it'll be over right here on UPN 5. You don't want to miss it. Also next week, we will also debut our next Gamecast coverage, powered by NBA 2K14. I almost forgot the name. NBA 2K14. That'll also be right here on UPN 5. And just to let you know, folks, for those of you who have watched the teasers and trailers of Supergirl in the Watery Trap and Supergirl Endurance, I urge you to watch the full film over on our sister station to you, W.O.N. 5.4. The channel, of course, is W.O.N. The U. And you'll be able to watch what right now has turned out to be a very successful fan film series. Speaking of series, we here at W.O.N. YouTube Networks appreciate all you folks' input and watching our videos, whether it's Story Break over on the Plus, Back in Time, and even Boneheads 101, and of course some of our sports gamecasts, our movies, and of course our specials. Now, I know a lot of folks are very interested. They enjoy watching the custom-made CBS Story Breaks. Mind you, these episodes have not been found, and the networks do not own it, unfortunately. That's a sad deal. Now, if they did, we have to take it down. But right now, they're currently in public domain. And I was always asked this, and I've been doing this for a couple of years. Do I have the Dragon's Blood episode? Well, the answer was no. Until, of course, last year when I was looking through my tapes and I found it and I stumbled upon it and I uploaded it, and the response has been tremendous. We have had over, and we uploaded this back in the spring, 818 views and still going strong. A lot of people watched it. Here's some of the comments I have gotten. This one 8 months ago from Boru25. He wrote, "Finally I found this. I've waited over 20 years to see this. Now I'll look with the one with the Terraria tops. I know what he's talking about. It's about a dinosaur with a tooth problem. I don't have that, unfortunately." This one comes from Mama's Girls. You know it. This was 6 months ago. She writes, "Thank you so much. I love seeing this classic again." This one comes from Miss Animator X. This was 4 months ago. And he was responding to Boru's 25's comment. He wrote, "You're not the only one looking for this." Now, Stephen Gomez, as some other guy on YouTube, say this from 1985. This one really was the kicker. This is the final one. This was 4 weeks ago. And I'll respond. Here's what he wrote. This guy's name is Russ Schmitz. He wrote this 4 weeks ago. And this is what he wrote. And I quote, "I'm asking you to remove this copy. It not only does not do the books any justice, but it's also a great disappointment to Jane Yonan and anyone who has had the great pleasure of reading her The Pit Dragon Trilogy or The Pit Dragon Chronicles." Alright, Russ, to answer your question, I will not take it down. Second of all, you have no right to tell me to take it down. Secondly, you seem to be the only one that does not like the cartoon or the video, because as I see, you turn out to be the only one with the thumbs down. Secondly, you don't have to be rude and demand for me to take off the video. You do not run the channels. You do not own the channels. And again, you asking me to remove something because you didn't find it, you found it as a great disappointment to you. Here's my response to you. Don't watch it. Don't watch the video. But don't demand to tell me to take it off. The only people that can tell me to demand to take it down is the owners, which unfortunately don't own it. Unfortunately, it's stuck in public domain hell. So again, you know what? But that's what you're gonna get. Unfortunately, for some people, you can't satisfy everybody in the YouTube world. People are gonna like it. People are not gonna like it. That's just the way it is. There's really nothing you can do about it. Now, the Back in Time series, we've had such a huge success with that series that we started back in 2012. Looking back at some of the great television stations in this country, and we had huge responses to it. I'm just going to read a little bit because we're running out of time here on Ask the Manager. The most watched Back in Time episode has to be the one, WPIX, that I uploaded back in April. And we've had so many comments on that video. We're going to start, I'm looking through here right now. Alright, we are going to start from 7 months ago. Stephen Gomez again commenting. He writes, "What a ride." 8 months ago. This one comes from DweebTube Street. He writes, "These look amazing. I wonder how these old local TV station bumper musics and promos are made." This one comes from KNN3144. He writes, "Interesting to note that in the movie bumpers, the news theme was used." And he is correct. The WPIX news theme was used for not only for the movies, but also the Yankees. Keep that in mind. This one comes from Thunderstruck665. He writes, "Love all the Yankee intros and promos. So many childhood memories. As bad as those Yankee teams were in the late 80s, early 90s, I remember fondly summers as watching as a kid on Channel 11 with the AC on and eating ice cream. Oh, I miss the scooter. Thanks for the flashback, my friend." Glad to help it. This idiot was just a jerk. This one comes from Just a Bill 1961. He writes, "Look at all those Yankee seats at Skanky games. The Skankies have the worst bandwagon fans in sports." Just to let you know, I deleted his comment. I'm just sorry. This one comes from Ralph Glutu. He writes, when baseball was mostly on free TV. Right you are. Okay, DweebTube Street writes, "My favorite parts was at 1:54 and ends at 2:30. Trying to look for more comments here. We are running out of time. This is going to be the only time we're going to read the comments here. Now, this guy wrote about the Skanky. I don't know, but this guy responds in a very good way. He writes, "Tell me about it. LOL. I remember being 19, 20 in 1990, where I could get great seats anywhere I wanted. Today, nothing but suits who leave in the 7th inning or if the Yanks are losing. Just sad how they treat the fans sometimes, especially with those prices." I don't know what that had to do with the bumpers, but I don't know. Speaking of bumpers, Popoff21 writes, "Thank you for having all these bumpers." John Feener also writes, "I'm thinking the next time the Mets play on Pix 11, on April Fool's Day, they should open with an old Yankees game theme instead of a SNY news package as an April Fool's joke." Sometimes I think some of these people are absolutely outrageous. And finally, Sammy Mac 827 writes, "Wow, the Mets intro, which was my favorite, and the reason I look for this included Reyes. This was like 2003, 2004. He's been around forever, but it feels like it just came up." And he's absolutely right. And that was actually the last 2 years. I think the last year that WPIX produced the game was 2005. And then 2006, Channel 11 still did the games, but they were produced by SNY. That's just a little bit known fact. Well, that's all the time we have for this very first edition of Ask the Manager. I know I was a little shaky and everything. I know the camera wasn't working very well, and it sounds like I was rambling on and on and on. But a lot of folks I wanted to connect it with. I hope I answered your questions. Now, next week, we are going to do the same thing. I I haven't thought of the topic yet, but when I do, I'll put up the promo right here on UPN 5. So until next time, this is yours truly, Jonathan Rios. I'm the manager of W.O.N, and I've asked you questions. Take it easy, and have a good week.